They don't want to destroy us, Padre Pio wrote in 1965. They want to rule us. Their technology is so advanced it would seem like divine magic to us. When they return, they will be worshipped as gods, and humanity will become a slave species, serving the true masters of the universe without even realizing it. Bennett discovered that the Vatican wasn't just complicit, it was the command center of the operation. Generations of popes had received direct communications from the locked angels, and the Church's hierarchical structure had been gradually shaped to serve their interests. Seemingly Christian rituals contained elements that strengthened the dimensional portals. Prayers in Latin included disguised invocations. The Vatican's architectural layout itself followed geometric patterns that served as amplifiers for interdimensional communication. If you've come this far, you understand that there are truths that transcend our apparent reality. To continue receiving reports like this, revealing humanity's deepest hidden secrets, stay tuned. There's much more to be revealed about the mysteries surrounding us. The investigation entered a dangerous phase when Bennett began exploring the catacombs beneath St. Peter's Basilica. Using ancient maps found in the archives, he discovered sealed chambers that didn't appear in any official records. In one of these chambers, he found something that changed everything. A crystalline structure of clearly non-human origin, pulsing with energy that caused his electronic equipment to fail. Vieri confirmed his suspicions after analyzing photographs. This is a stabilized portal, functional but sealed by extremely sophisticated containment symbols. Father, you found one of the locked angels' prisons. But they weren't alone in their discoveries. A shadowy organization, known only as the Silence, had detected their activities. Agents disguised as tourists began appearing at the places they frequented. Phones were tapped, emails intercepted. The pressure was mounting, and both knew time was running out. The last entry in Bennett's diary was written 2 nights before his disappearance. They know we've discovered. Toretti summoned me for a private audience tomorrow. He said there are things I need to better understand about my research. I fear it's not just a conversation. If something happens to me, I hope someone finds these records and continues the work. Humanity needs to know the truth about what awaits us. Vieri also disappeared that same week. His villa was found empty, with signs of a struggle and all scientific equipment removed. Neighbors reported strange lights and sounds of helicopters during the early morning hours. Authorities filed both cases as voluntary disappearances of individuals with psychological problems. But the story doesn't end here. In the months following Bennett's disappearance, strange events began occurring around the world. Unexplained luminous phenomena were recorded over sites of religious importance. People reported visions of angelic beings bearing messages about a new era of revelation. Scientists detected gravitational anomalies suggesting increasing interdimensional activity. The fragments of research left by Bennett suggest that the portals are weakening naturally. The barriers that keep the locked angels in their prison dimension are deteriorating after millennia of containment. Their return is not a matter of if, but of when. And when that moment arrives, humanity will discover that everything it believed about religion, science, and the nature of reality was just an elaborate illusion designed to keep us ignorant and docile. The last notes found reveal a date, 2027. According to Padre Pio's calculations, based on communications with the locked angels, this would be the year the portals would open completely. The Church is already preparing, reformulating doctrines, and creating narratives that will present the return as a second coming or final divine revelation. Humanity will be led to worship its new masters as saviors without realizing it's simply trading one prison for another. Today, as you read these words, the signs are everywhere for those who know where to look. Unidentified flying object sightings have increased dramatically. Unexplainable atmospheric phenomena have become commonplace. People around the world report similar dreams of beings of light carrying ominous messages about imminent transformations. The reality we know is preparing for a fundamental shift, and few truly understand what that means. Bennett's files include a list of other investigators who came close to the truth over the centuries. All disappeared or were silenced in seemingly natural ways. Galileo wasn't persecuted only for his astronomical discoveries, but for having detected signs of interdimensional activity. Tesla disappeared because his energy experiments began interfering with the containment portals. Even Albert Einstein was discreetly steered away from certain areas of research that could have revealed the truth about the multidimensional nature of reality. The conspiracy is far broader and older than any theory ever imagined. It's not just about earthly governments or secret organizations. It's about a manipulation that transcends our dimension, orchestrated by intelligences operating on timescales we can barely comprehend. The last document found in Bennett's apartment was a letter addressed to the one who finds these records. In it, he wrote, "If you've come this far, you were chosen to know the truth. But knowledge brings responsibility. You can try to warn others, but few will believe. You can try to resist, but the forces involved are greater than any individual human effort. Or you can simply live your life pretending none of this is real. The choice is yours. But remember, ignorance will be no protection when the portals fully open. Now you know the truth that cost the lives of men brave enough to seek it. The locked angels aren't metaphors or religious symbols. They are literal realities awaiting their liberation. The Vatican isn't just a religious institution, but a command center for interdimensional operations. And our apparent reality is merely the surface of a cosmos far more complex and dangerous than we ever imagined. The events described in this account have been meticulously documented and verified through multiple sources. The implications are terrifying, but denial won't make them disappear. Humanity stands on the brink of a transformation that will completely redefine our understanding of existence, purpose, and our place in the universe. After reading all this, one question remains echoing. If you knew that in a few years our reality would be completely transformed by the arrival of beings who have waited millennia for their liberation, what would you do with that knowledge?
What you are about to read should never have fallen into your hands. This account was compiled from documents found in the abandoned apartment of Father Michael Bennett in Rome, 3 days after his disappearance in March 2023. Vatican authorities have denied any involvement, but neighbors reported strange activity during the early morning hours. Men in black removing boxes and burning papers in the courtyard. Among the fragments salvaged from the flames were handwritten notes, deteriorated photographs, and a single audio recording that would forever alter our understanding of the Catholic Church's deepest secrets. Father Bennett had dedicated the last 15 years of his life researching the visions of Padre Pio, the Capuchin mystic canonized in 2002. What began as an academic study of stigmata transformed into a dangerous obsession when he discovered that the Italian saint's supernatural experiences went far beyond what the Church had ever publicly revealed. In the yellowed pages of his personal journal, found inside a hollowed-out Bible, Bennett wrote, "They weren't angels as we imagined. Padre Pio saw the truth, and for that they had to silence him." The investigation began in 2008 when Bennett was assigned to catalog Padre Pio's personal archives in the Vatican secret archives. It was routine work, filing letters and documents for future researchers. But among the official manuscripts, he found a series of notebooks written in archaic Italian dialect, filled with symbols he couldn't decipher. The notes dated from 1918 to 1968, precisely the period when Padre Pio manifested stigmata and reported his celestial visions. The first translated fragment left him uneasy. "The beings of light who visit me do not come from the heaven we know. They descend from a parallel dimension where they were imprisoned millennia ago for crimes against divine order. They show me floating cities made of black crystal and whisper secrets about the true nature of reality. They are not fallen angels, they are locked angels, awaiting the moment of liberation. Bennett sought out Cardinal Joseph Turretti, responsible for the archives, to discuss the discovery. Turretti, a 78-year-old man with piercing eyes and perpetually trembling hands, listened in silence before replying in a voice that seemed to come from a tomb. "Father Michael, there is knowledge that should not be unearthed. Some mysteries exist to protect humanity, not to satisfy our curiosity." But Bennett had gone too far to retreat. In the following weeks, he delved deeper into the writings. Padre Pio described regular encounters with entities who presented themselves as the guardians of forbidden knowledge. According to his accounts, these beings had been banished to an intermediary dimension between heaven and hell after questioning divine authority during the creation of the universe. They were not demons, but angels who had discovered truths about the nature of God that should not be known by mortals. They showed me that our reality is only one of the infinite layers of existence, Padre Pio wrote in 1943. Our universe is a prison disguised as paradise, and we are both guards and prisoners. The stigmata on my hands are not marks of holiness. They are symbols of a secret alliance, a pact to keep the portal sealed until humanity is ready for the truth. Bennett discovered that the supernatural phenomena surrounding Padre Pio, levitation, bilocation, miraculous healings, were not divine gifts, but manifestations of angelic technology. The imprisoned beings had found a way to influence our dimension through individuals with specific psychic sensitivity. Padre Pio was one of the chosen, a living conduit between worlds. The most shocking revelation came in a 1962 entry. "Today, the fallen angel told me something that chilled my blood. The Second Vatican Council is not about the renewal of the Church, but about preparation. They know that the veil between dimensions is weakening. Soon the portals will open naturally, and when that happens, the locked angels will return. The Church is positioning itself to be the mediator between our species and the true rulers of the cosmos." Bennett began to notice strange changes in his surroundings. Colleagues who once greeted him began to avoid him in the hallways. His access to certain sections of the archives was discreetly revoked. Mysterious phone calls came to his residence in the middle of the night. No one spoke, only the sound of heavy breathing. He was being watched. That's when he found Dr. Alessandro Viri, a retired quantum physicist who had worked at CERN before becoming a paranormal investigator. Viri lived reclusively in a villa on the outskirts of Rome, surrounded by makeshift scientific equipment and libraries filled with texts on interdimensional physics. When Bennett showed him Padre Pio's writings, the scientist's eyes lit up with a mixture of fascination and terror. "Father, you have no idea what you've discovered," Viri said, examining the symbols through a magnifying glass. "These aren't mystical scribbles, they're mathematical equations, formulas for manipulating the fabric of space-time. During my years at CERN, we found evidence of parallel dimensions, but we could never stabilize the portals. These symbols, they show how to do it." Viri revealed that a secret group of scientists and theologians had formed in the 1950s to investigate the connection between mystical phenomena and quantum physics. They called themselves the Watchers and operated in the shadows, infiltrated into universities, laboratories, and even the Vatican. Their mission was to monitor signs of interdimensional activity and ensure that certain discoveries never reached the public knowledge. Padre Pio was one of the most documented cases, Viri explained. But he wasn't the only one. Throughout history, dozens of mystics, saints, and visionaries have reported contact with the same types of entities. The Church has always known this, but kept it under absolute secrecy. You've only discovered the tip of the iceberg. Together, they began to decipher more symbols and texts. They discovered that the locked angels were not just spiritual beings, but an entire civilization, millions of entities with advanced technology beyond our comprehension. They had been banished to the intermediary dimension after a cosmic war that nearly destroyed the fabric of reality. Imprisonment wasn't punishment, but containment, a desperate measure to prevent their influence from corrupting other dimensions. Padre Pio's notes revealed that these beings had found ways to communicate through sensitive individuals, planting ideas and knowledge that would gradually prepare humanity for their eventual release. Great scientific advancements, archaeological discoveries, even religious movements, all part of a millennial plan to create the necessary conditions for their return.